Ready to go! Yes, that's a man!
Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to another YouTube video. I hope you're well. I know we're still a fair way out, and by fair way out, I mean if I look at the date, what is it, the date today? 13th. Friday the 13th, how about that? Friday the 13th of August. So that makes this, what, about 22, 23 days out from Dave Chaffee, Levan Saginashvili. I wanted to talk about the implications of this match. What does it mean if Dave wins? The reason I wanted to talk about that is because if Levan wins, not that much changes in terms of what comes next for Levan, what comes next for the world of arm wrestling, and that what next is probably Devon v. Levan. In December, sometime after Levan's come down to Australia and trained with me. I can't believe I'm going to help Levan prepare for Devon. Devon, sorry, but I think you're in trouble. Anyway, what are the implications really if Dave wins this? I think that Dave would be excited by this opportunity. I think that Dave would be relishing this ability that he's now got to just wreck everything, to wreck all of it and say, well, guess what, everyone, I'm the man, and what are you going to do about it? It's a really big, being in that position is a powerful position when it comes to mindset. It's a position where it really is no pressure. I don't think there's any pressure on Dave Chaffee to win this match. He might have some pressure on himself, expectation, excitement, hope, all that sort of stuff, but really there's no pressure. Levan is the overwhelming favorite in almost everyone's eyes in Eastern Europe. He's the favorite in the majority of people from the Western world of arm wrestling. Everyone's forgotten that Dave Chaffee kind of exists. Everyone says Levan's wrist is too big. There's all this stuff. But really, that's empowering Dave Chaffee quite significantly. If Dave Chaffee wins this match, Vitaly Levan drops. Levan Saginashvili drops. Gennady Kvikvinia drops. Michael Todd, Devon Larratt, and American arm wrestling rises a bit. Jerry Carteret rises. It really does upset the apple cart in a lot of ways. A lot of the time, the conversations that I've observed in the arm wrestling world, in the community, is generally that, of the last 6 months anyway, has generally been that Eastern European arm wrestlers are just stronger. They just are. That's been the opinion. There's been many debates rage. Many debates say that, hey, Western arm wrestling is just King's Move arm wrestling. Michael Todd, Devon Larratt, both having victories over Dave Chaffee using the King's Move in the WEL. Kind of upsets people a little bit. But Dave is one of those traditional, fundamental arm wrestlers. Stronger side pressure than I think anyone on the planet. And this is his domain where he gets the chance to prove that. Now, if he does, if Dave Chaffee beats Levan, I think we still need to see Devon and Levan because that's just such a cool match no matter what. But the winner of that can no longer just be seen as number one. Devon would have to have a two-stage attempt to get there. He would have to take on Dave Chaffee afterwards. People like Vitaly Levan would all of a sudden be lining up for an opportunity at Dave. And honestly, I think Dave deserves that. If I remember back to 2000 and maybe 2018, there was a time when Dave was considered the number one rank in the world. He hadn't faced Andrei Pushkar, but there was a panel. For a moment in time, I was on the panel, organized by Export News, where a panel of experts would vote from 1 to 20 of the world rankings. And Dave Chaffee was number one for a brief moment in time. Andrei Pushkar was number two. Then we lost the data. We didn't get to see more matches. Andrei became 1-1 on both sides. Andrei passed. Denis Saplenkov got sick. And the rise of Levan happened. But Dave, I don't think he's been sleeping. I don't think he's been sleeping at all. I think he's every bit as strong as he was when he beat Denis Saplenkov. His victory on Denis Saplenkov was not against a unhealthy Denis Saplenkov either. Albeit, I think there were elbow fouls involved. He still took control of center, went this way. Dennis didn't want anything to do with the side pressure of Dave Chaffee. He had to force a deep situation to get a stop, and it shows you really where Dave Chaffee's caliber at. I do think a lot of people, perhaps Devin Larratt included, by his staking's balance, is underestimating Dave. I think a lot of people potentially are underestimating Dave. But one person that's not underestimating Dave is Dave. I think Dave, I haven't heard anything from Dave. I actually messaged Dave before I did this video, and he hasn't seen it yet. I was hoping, there we go, active an hour ago, so he hasn't seen it, but you never know. You never know, like he might message me back through this. But he's had his head down. He's doing his thing. No one really knows what's going on. Everyone wants to hear from Dave. Where's Dave at in this? No doubt Levan is confident. No doubt Igor is confident that his man's going to win. But there's this silent killer coming. And Dave Chaffee might just pull it off. He might just pull off what everyone thinks is the impossible and defeat Levan Saginashvili. And if that happens, oh my goodness, we're all going to go crazy. We're all going to have to redo the whole opinion of the matches that need to happen. The top 8, the whole concept of the top 8 is going to be thrown into mayhem. The legitimacy of the claim of European arm wrestling being superior is going to be thrown into mayhem. It's probably going to get Michael Todd a match. It's probably going to get Jerry Carteret a match. It's probably going to get, well, Devin's going to get a match no matter what against these monsters. And I think it ultimately brings back the call for the big East vs West showdown, which I'd love to see. I don't know. There's so many dream matches. Vitali and Carteret, what a contrast of styles that would be. I mean, Devin and Levan's going to happen. Put Gennady and Michael or something like that. I don't know. There's so many good things that need to happen. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of float some thoughts around with this one, because as this match approaches, and make no mistake, this is the biggest match in the next, I don't know, month or so. It's the next big deal for the arm wrestling world to be excited about. And it's got massive implications in so many ways if Dave wins. And just the vibe, the energy that I feel from Dave's silence is one of, I'm coming to muck things up. I'm coming to wreck the day. I'm coming in unafraid, and I'm going to surprise all of you. There's a big part of me that kind of hopes that's the case. I'm a big fan of Dave Chaffee. He's a cool dude, strong dude. And at the end of the day, I'm part of Team Western arm wrestling, so I gotta go for him. Even though I'm gonna help Levan prepare for Devin when he comes to Australia. So lots of excitement and thoughts, and I don't know where I'm going with this. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Is Dave being underestimated? Is Dave going to shock everyone? And in my last video about this, where I talked about how the match is going to go specifically, I won't do that again here because we've done that. But I genuinely think there's avenues for Dave, and if the match goes to those avenues, he will get the job done. It's exciting. It's only a couple of weeks away, a few weeks away, 3.5 or whatever it is, but it's close, and we're going to talk about it more as we get closer. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Dave Chaffee, if you see this message, he hasn't seen it yet. If you see this message, Dave, hit me up and I'll share it with you guys what I get from Dave. Anyway, guys, hope you're well, and we'll speak soon.
Yes, that's a man!